Hello, welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to the guys who have been subscribers, to the new subscribers. Welcome back to the channel. It's another episode. Just going to be covering just your weekly update. I was kind of talking about the Dstv Premiership as well. My name is Walter as usual. For those who haven't subscribed to the Disky podcast, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I know most of you guys who watch the videos haven't subscribed, and please don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment as well. Appreciate the feedback. I appreciate everyone who is tuned in on a weekly basis and supporting the channel. Continue to do that, and I really appreciate the love and support. Well, that's not much because there's just one game this week that was postponed, which was the London Pirates. The original Soweto Dab was supposed to play this week. It's been postponed because the Pirates is in business in the CAF. They have to wrap up because they're playing away, and the time frame of them coming back and having to fulfill their DSTV Premiership obligations, they felt that they couldn't. So I think they've made a plea to the PSL for the game to be postponed. So they're going to be playing tomorrow. So we'll talk about it a bit later on. Australian Sundowns, it was playing yesterday. They won comfortably, even though the score didn't reflect the gameplay. But also, to be fair, they were a bit blunt because they won 1-0. And, it's not your usual Mamelodi Sundowns that we all know. But considering the fact that they were playing against a side that was really, really desperate for results. And, it was more easy for them. And they were playing away. And another thing I think I noticed on my side is the fact that they've played 5 games, 5 out of 5 now. I think it's one of those where, the more games you play, the more teams analyze you, the more they're likely to know how you play. So obviously they came into that game having to want to frustrate Sundowns, but they came through with the points, maximum points. And we're going to be talking about the Kaizer Chiefs, who's going to be playing Saturday against Amazulu. Yabona, abantu sebarelaxile, we've forgotten. And actually, they've unveiled Gonzalez finally. Officially, he's in the country. He's just working for his work permit for him to be part of the squad. So we're going to be just holistically, as per normal, talking about all these things. But I want to start with the game first because, look, as per normal, good night of football, good day of football there. Liked what I saw. We saw new faces in the lineup, the starting lineup with Mendieta starting for the first time, making his full debut, and didn't disappoint. They didn't really look out of shape, but they do look thin, in my opinion, if Uzwan is not there. I'm just interested to see what's going to happen with the Sundowns of in future when they don't have Uzwan anymore. They may have a few issues there, especially with the few talents that we are seeing in other teams. So he's a gem for the club, and it shows. But Mendieta is a good acquisition. So I think they're testing accommodations where Uzwane may be injured, maybe off form at times, and they need, they need consistent results. So Mendieta came in quite well. He got his first goal even. Was combining well with his South American friends there, with Abu Costa, Allende, But I picked up one thing, and this is something that Mamila has been saying, but because he was making too much noise, we kind of forgot to actually look at maybe in depth on what he's saying. For me, I want to call this out right lane early because we're halfway through 10 games. And 10 games, usually that's where you see who is where other clubs are going to be setting themselves up in terms of who's going to be chasing for the league, who do you think has potential to be number 2, who can challenge for Sundowns for the title and all these things. It's early, but 10 games just gives you an indication because you would have racked up enough points and you'd have read the game very well because you've played most of the teams then. You would have played a cup game like you see now is semi-final. So it sets itself nicely to understand their ambitions and to be realistically putting realistic targets, and where do they need to see themselves, or where do they need to improve so that they can understand how far they can go with the players that they have. And we've seen last season, after 10 games, hey man, it gets really dangerous. It gets really dicey. The clubs really now start to analyze each other well, and we start to see certain players that they've been bought. If they bought the right players, they have enough quality to go all the way and all these things. So with Sundowns now having played 5 games and they've won all of them, and they are now 15 points clear. Not 15 points clear, but they are 15 points already in the bag. It suggests that already they're moving in the right direction, because obviously probably they've ticked enough boxes to say they can drop points at this point. At least they'll still have enough time to come back, and they can focus on cups and CAF and all that. And so it's less pressure on them, to be fair, which is a good thing. But I've seen with that game alone that this team is beatable. As much as they're a good team, they look strong, they look like they're going to defend the title and all this noise. But for me, it's beatable because if you've watched the last 5 games, apart from the Kaiser Chiefs game, because they did create enough chances, it was just they didn't bury them. I saw a team where Mamila had said one thing that we forgot to really look into. Sundowns, you can match them pound for pound. It's just that they are clinical. And when I saw Richards Bay, they frustrated Sundowns at times, and Richards Bay created enough chances to even get a draw, to even get a win. So yes, Sundowns, they're a ball possession team, they have bulk of the position, but it doesn't matter if you're not using the position to create chances and to score. And at the end of the day, the scoreline tells us or gives an indication, because in the league, you just need points. So I'm thinking to myself, what if teams now get to have or be smart enough to make sure that they frustrate them, that give them the ball, but they are very disciplined at the back, and they are also clinical, which is how Kevin Hunt would set up last season and beat the Sundowns. It's just up to them for these teams to figure out how they can set their formations and the players that they have, how they can set themselves up. Because most of the time, Sundowns, with the high pressure game in the first half, they allow you to make your own mistakes, and they capitalize on those. Yesterday, they created that goal fair and square, but afterwards it became a bit dry. Hence, I said maybe it's because Tembazana was not there. But yes, they looked don't get me wrong, they look very strong, they look compact. They didn't really look like you can break them down at any point. But from the wing, there was this guy Figueroa, I think, from Richards Bay. And Richards Bay were holding their own. There were times where they could even pass each other comfortably, build from the back, pass each other well, be composed, win those individual battles, try to penetrate from the side, try to penetrate from the inside. And sometimes really look concerned. It was concerning to a certain extent. But Richards being a wounded animal, you could only understand how difficult it is for the team. They haven't won a game in 18 games. They haven't won a game in this year already. Coach probably is under pressure. The players as well probably under pressure. So that's the one thing. Probably it's in their heads, and they're a wounded animal, and Sundowns can only capitalize on those things. But when you get a team that's high in spirits, they've been winning games. They look fluid. They're confident with the players that they have and the play that they have. They may trouble Sundowns, like your Pirates, for example. They get them at the right pace where they've gotten enough wins under their belt. There's less pressure, there's confidence, and the technical team looks very well, and they have enough quality. That's where you can see. But also the issue is in the Dstv Premiership, if you've watched it closely, there's not enough teams who can actually trouble Sundowns that manner. Hence why I feel they have a formula to win the title, because it's not about head-to-head. It's about being able to win against other teams. And that's where the other teams get it wrong. So for me, it is a beatable team. But as far as the league is concerned, it's only a few teams that can trouble them. And look, in the league, you just need to win most of your games to win the title. So I don't think it's going to be a landslide. I just feel that it's going to be those close margins that is going to make it count for them. But it is beatable. Now I've seen it; they are beatable. It's just up to the teams to realize that for themselves, because we just read the game and we watch these games like how. So if it wasn't for that, if that chance wasn't crazy, it was if they were clinical at the back and they stayed compact and they actually trusted in their gameplay, maybe if they also created a chance and they scored it could have been a different scoreline. And that is the same story each and every game you play against Sundowns. They are dominant in ball position and clinical when they've created chances. But if there's not enough chances for them to create, that's where the issue is. And these teams need to wake up when that happens. So instead of just playing a low block and staying and absorbing all the pressure, go to them. If Swallows did the same thing and they won with an offside goal. So you understand that the more I think, in the later parts of the season, you will see such drama and you will start to see the cracks. And I think that's why they've bought so many quality players as well, because quality, individual brilliance may help to hide some of those frailties and weaknesses within the team. So it is beatable, but now obviously because they're winning so well, and now there's this stigma of Sundowns is hard to beat and they're so strong and they have quality players. A lot of teams are fearful and they're so concerned about Sundowns that they can't really focus on their own gameplay and trust in what they have. You can't play like Sundowns, you can't be a ball possession team, but I'm sure you can be able to do something that can actually maybe turn it in your favor, get a lucky goal or a penalty, or, just the defense as well. The midfielders need to be concerned about the other team as well. This time out, they looked like cruising. I was one of course that they were jumping all over players. They were having fun yesterday. But there was a 1-0, and that's my analysis about that game. Not much to talk about it. It's just Sundowns doing what Sundowns do best. But for me, I saw that it is beatable. It's just up to the teams to focus on that. Yeah. So if you like what we were talking about, please, as per normal, don't forget to like, subscribe, and don't forget to click on that notification bell. There's not much to talk about Pirates here, because they didn't play. They're playing tomorrow. But what I can be able to just maybe go into is the predicted lineup. As per normal, I think it's like a 3-4-3. Where they have, I think the best pair for me, if they can try Unda move, and maybe they can sacrifice Spisi, because between Uxok and Spisi, there's one who's not picking up, or maybe they play a similar role. In a sense, Ngato one who is sweeper, because seemingly one doesn't pick up a player, and that's where the danger for me comes in, where Munyane or Shandu, Ngap Uoto, it could be Mayela, it could be Umako. They always are overlapping. And most of the time when one overlaps, maybe Shandu has to stay back. Shandu no Umtola penetrate and he's scoring for them as well. So that's the one issue I have. But they're playing against a really, it's not really a strong team. So I don't think they'll be too concerned about them overlapping. I'm just of the matter is they need to win at home. Even if they get a 0-0 draw, they are through. It's just that for me at the back, the only concern is about the defense. The attack, they are very strong. And I think they'll go with the same lineup. They'll go with, we haven't seen a team, I think it's still in injury. Also, I think it's going to be, for me, I'll start with Mnari again. Ndlondlo looks strong. Mufukeng on the side. Saleng on the other. Lipasa up front. Masongai, or I'll say Saleng behind Lipasa, then Masongai on the left, Mufukeng on the right. And yeah, the two overlaps. Who am I missing? Yeah. So that's the lineup at the back. Okay. I will try Unda if that is fit enough. I'll try Unda and some big space. Okay, for me, I like them. So that's not the lineup. But for me, I'm not too concerned about this game. I could give it a 2-0 if I had to predict the score. 3-0 aggregate because they already scored a goal. So it's just maybe the team you have frustrated because they don't really know much. It's hard to play against a team that you don't know much about it. You can't really know their weaknesses and all that. But I don't think they'll have problems. If not, maybe a 1-0, then they'll go through. The one thing I wanted to talk about is Kaizer Chiefs versus Amazulu. They're coming from a loss against ETS. Amazulu comes from a draw against Richards Bay. They haven't also won a game. I think they sit on 1 point now. They are fun and art. I think they 2 points. They have 2 draws and 1 loss. Tina, we just have 1 draw, 2 losses. And I think here, the biggest issue in Zobana is who's going to be setting up because, man, I think singazama ukuqala ngomduduzi sibeke uPotsane between uPotsane noModi one fela sale. But for me, knowing Zeki well, ufana noZwane. There's another Zwane. He won't change. Mart, I don't like him. He's gonna be there. So okay, let's see. I would start with Okune because I've heard reports that they might give him a chance. So I'll start Kune because he's not injured. Kune is not injured, by the way. If you guys are wondering, he's not injured. So I'll start with Kune at the back. Dove is still injured, so I'll start with Tlanti. But for me, Bengzongazamu Mashiane, Tlanti, Frostless, Penormal, the 2 pair, the clock, Simang, Castillo. I know. Umar tells me, guys, also back on. But I would prefer Zwane there. But let's leave him out there. On the side, Umodika left. I would Tutuzi. Then Ngibeke Uranga Nomtanzan. Or keep him Tutuzi in front of Dupree. Because he's been training with the club. And yeah, that would be mine. Then Snachincha Umodi no Putane. Then maybe what they've been doing, Tatu Rang, they go to second half. Sfage Ulokuzan. That's speedy winger Sahil. So that's my predicted lineup. For me, it's a draw. But knowing very well that the pressure at Kaizer Chiefs, they'll be chasing for a win. But it's a draw for me. Amazulu has been giving us problems in the last 2 seasons. The last time we've won, there was a very dodgy win. Unekovic got an offside goal. We've never really dominated. First leg, last win, 4-0, we were dominating, funny enough. It was just the finishing. So I'm expecting these guys to play under pressure. Each and every chance they're going to be rushed. It's going to be hard. It's going to be up to them if they really want to win. And yeah, that's my predicted line. The one thing I wanted to talk about was very interesting when I woke up in the morning. Was about an article I saw on Sokalatum. Now, to tell you guys back, this is about how Lokuzan, Black Panther, what's his name again? Caleb was released. If you remember, I think for a post a few months back before the season ended, there was a scuffle. One of the players had actually fought, or allegedly, Uzwane had actually shouted at a player in front of other players in a very, very unprofessional manner. That was then, but no source was released, or no one, they didn't name anyone. This was far post, if I remember. Now Sokalutuma was just interviewing the agent, Yaga Caleb. Now when I read the article, the same story comes up. Now it shows that story, when they say they smoke, there's fire. Now this means that same incident was actually Caleb, which then was Uzwan at the time. So we should shouta Caleb and blaming him for a game that they had lost, but in front of the players. And Caleb didn't like that. And if we remember, Caleb was trialing preseason, and I think they didn't like him for some reason. Those are the reports we were following. Then they called him back after that 4-0 win against or loss against the Sundowns. Now, the interesting thing is, apparently, he was called by Unseki. The agent spoke to Unseki. Unseki said, please fix my passport, and that's how Caleb came back. Angizoyishare lapho makhosi. To show you ukuthi, to understand what I mean about Kaizer Chiefs, inkinga zabo zicala kuphi. The coaches are not involved in recruitment. Now the agent is giving us isigaqa ukuthi how they conduct business per se, because they feel like Caleb wasn't given enough time. The agent feels like Caleb was ill-treated almost was not liked by the players apparently, or they were not passing him the ball. He was very isolated, and there was no supply. And apparently, he's the same thing he sees in Ranga. So there's division. That's what I'm hearing, or I'm thinking. Oh, they divided. And we've been saying these things, and we don't even have enough information. Body language and watching the game as well outside of play. Sabona Unjabulo Ngcobo being substituted in a very wrong manner. Sabona Bokwinika making the same mistakes week in and week out, but they still get Ilan. Peterson as well has been making the same mistakes. If it was another goalkeeper, remember the last time we saw Bruce Mvumo was against the Sundowns. He was never given a chance ever again, if I remember. So for me, ngizoyishare lapho makhosi. Asihlangane Saturday when you watch Amazulu. Hopefully banga surprise, because I don't know about Kaizer Chiefs anymore. It's very hard to analyze their team, because even when they play, we still are yet to understand badlala kanjani. Pirates and Sundowns, who look like they are serious about football, because already I wasn't surprised, because this is the things that we've been talking about. It's very hard to talk about football matters, because at the end of the day, also telling King, as you saw, that we were suspecting that a family business has been so prevalent. That's why coaches like Nabi can't be brought on board. Coaches like Kobo Peter cannot go to a team like that, because the family, Erana Kaizer Chiefs, the coaches who are put there, am I yes man? So yeah, I'll leave it there. Thank you for those who keep tuning in every week. Tell me what you think. If you go into Sokala Duma, watch that interview yourself. Tell me what you think. Am I blowing off steam, or Nkulmaga cool, or am I wrong? I don't know, guys, because it's very hard. But we'll be watching that game. Check you on Monday. Pirates is playing tomorrow. I think it's at 3 p.m. Saturday, Chiefs Yazala, 3 p.m. The next game is Sundowns. I think Yazala Saturday. I didn't get the fixture. But I don't think it's... Oh, Yazala Nepulukwane City. Yes. So those games we'll be covering as well. And yeah, based on these conversations, the only thing I would ask and more is keep on liking, keep on subscribing, and keep on commenting on the video and the channel. It helps a lot. And yeah, just give me your thoughts in terms of conversation today and the topic. Tell me what you think, and tell me if you agree with these into. So check on the next episode, and thank you so much. Bye for now.